Well, hey everybody, I'm glad you're here, and the questions are quickly loading up. So I'm glad that we're here again on a Monday. We're going to do some pictures in a moment. People are sending in their pictures, and we have a bunch of new videos that just came out. We do the comparison video that is supposed to drop every Tuesday. That's what Andrea and I decided, but because there's a Mazda CX-30 Turbo embargo lifting tomorrow, we decided to bump that comparison video up today. But that's the goal, is on Tuesdays we're going to do these comparison videos. So the Mazda CX-30 Turbo releases tomorrow morning. What else is coming up later in the week? Oh, I have to get my CXs and my XCs lined up here. So it's the CX-30 on Tuesday, but it's the XC40 Recharge, the electric Volvo, is on Saturday. What else is coming up this week? Oh, avocado toast for Zach. We recorded the video of me eating the avocado toast yesterday. If you're not aware what I'm talking about, it was about 15,000 subscribers ago. I said when we hit 150,000 subscribers, I would eat avocado toast because I really dislike avocados. So that was the challenge. So that video is going to be coming out. And also the Kia K5 GT video that we did for Motoring TV. I'm going to put that out on the channel here so you can take a look at it. So that's all to come this week. So there's lots and lots of stuff going on. All right, now let's get into, we have one video and one picture. Let's get to the video first. This is one that we got, and what do we have here? This is brand new. This is from Robert. Robert is new Palisade Calligraphy, the top trim of the Palisade, and that is such a beautiful vehicle. And I'm seeing so many Palisades, so many Tellurides on the street. I think the Korean twins, as you know, I talk about them all the time, are just absolutely slaying it out there. All right. Okay, let's get into, and I'm missing it. Oh yeah, Car Cost Canada. Don't forget, we're going to write that here, CCC, Car Cost Canada. Don't forget to sign up using the promo code MOTORMOUTH and become an expert member. All right, let's get into the questions here, see what's going on. James saying, good evening, Zach. Are you going to review the Mustang Mach-E, and why doesn't BMW bring the iX to North America? I'm not sure about the iX. When we get the Mach-E available, yeah, we will be driving it. Speaking of Ford, next week we get the Bronco Sport. So Andrew and I will be doing a video on that. It's tough for these car companies to have launches easier in the United States because they have a much bigger mass. Meaning they're just way more auto journalists in the United States. They could hold events in California or maybe a couple of other centers in the U.S. and they're going to get a lot of people. Our business here in Canada is so spread out. So we're waiting for vehicles, for units to land. And when we get them here locally, we will drive them with all of the no-fly orders, with all of the stay-home orders, with all of the lockdowns in Canada. Nobody's jumping on an airplane and going to an event. Hi, Zach. Is road salt still a danger to modern cars in terms of causing rust? What is your opinion on rust-proofing processes? Well, it depends on where you live. If you live in an area where they put a lot of salt down, yes, salt is absolutely the enemy of the modern car. And cars have been able to, car companies have been able to do galvanizing on the steel. A lot of the bottom of the car that you see now is plastic. They have plastic wheel well liners, the bumpers and the rocker panels and all that are plastic, and that really helps avoiding corrosion. But the best piece of advice is to clean your car as often as you can. When the car is frozen, like when it's below zero for many days in a row, the salt isn't going to hurt your car. It's when it starts to melt. The corrosive action happens when the salt mixes with the water. So if you have a long period of time where it's below zero and your car is covered in salt, that's not really going to hurt it that much. It's when the temperature goes back up, everything starts to melt, water sprays onto the car. That's when you get that action happening. Now, So cleaning it regularly and really cleaning in all those nooks and crannies. In my opinion, the best way to avoid it is to get a rust protection like Crown or Rust Check are the two best. Absolutely bar none the best. Hey Zach, I'm looking at purchasing a 3-row SUV and considering a Mazda CX-9. Was wondering your opinion and recommendations. Well, the CX-9 is a fabulous vehicle. It isn't the biggest in this class. If you're looking for maximum rear seat capacity, not in the second row but the third row, there are bigger choices. The Telluride and the Palisade are bigger, and the biggest, in my opinion, is the Atlas from Volkswagen. If that's not your concern and you're only going to use that third row on occasion for an extra kid to go to grandma's house or whatever, then it's going to be totally fine. I like the way it drives. I like the way it looks. I like the interior. It's actually a very nice product, and I have no problem getting behind the CX-9. All right, just checking I haven't missed anything yet. There's John. Hope all is good on the other side of the country. Big snow last night, which highlighted just how bad some drivers are in this province. Now, John sent a picture through of, I'm going to see if I can pull it up here but it was really small. He's, as you can see from his thumbnail, he is a photographer, amateur photographer. Let me see if I can find it here. And he sent this cool photo of a BMW i3, but it was too small. So send me a larger one, John, and we'll love to show it here on the channel. And I'm glad that you're here today. So yeah, bad driving is not exempt. No, there's no part of the country that is exempt from bad driving. Oh, Jack's here. Jack, what's the score in the Canucks game? 1-0. Let me guess. The Leafs.
Yes.
Have a seat. So what did you think of the Super Bowl? Did Mahomes? Where was he?
Not in Tampa Bay.
And
he's not good.
So is Brady now the GOAT?
He was before, but now, yeah.
He's the all-time GOAT?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an argument on Twitter if he's the best in any sport.
No.
Well, who is it then?
Well, you look at...
They're saying Serena Williams.
Yeah,
I don't think you compare team sports and individual sports.
Yeah, Michael Phelps.
Yeah, but team sports, I think he's the best.
What about Wayne Gretzky?
Does he have 7 championships?
He doesn't have 7 championships, but there's nobody even close to him when it comes to
but
stats.
Brady's going to beat all the records by the time he's done, because Drew Brees has all of them, and he's number 2, and Drew Brees is going to retire.
Okay.
So
we'll see. I think when it comes to football, he's the GOAT.
Yeah. I think the only person that comes close would be Michael Jordan.
So is he going to win next year?
No, I don't think so. I think the Chiefs will probably win next year.
All right, off you go, Jack. Good job. Thanks for the beer. There you go. There's your sports update from Jack. Yeah, it wasn't the best game yesterday. What are we drinking today? Dawn Pilsner. The Parkside Brewery. There you go. Why would you call it Dawn Pilsner? Who has Pilsner at dawn? Unless you've been up all night. Hey, Zach, my wife thinks all SUVs are the same. Buy the one with the lowest cost per pound. Help. So you want me to tell your wife to spend more, or you want me to suggest one that is the cheapest? I need clarification, Chris. Here's Raj. Raj sent a picture as well. I didn't download it. Now, we did a whole video, I don't have the picture here, of the Q3 from Audi, and I made a big deal about how it runs on regular gas. Raj just picked up a Q3, and he sent me a picture of the inside of the filler cap, and it says use premium gas. And then on the Audi site it even says it runs on regular gas. So we're a little confused. And his dealer says it runs on regular gas. So maybe they just put a sticker on that they shouldn't have. What are your thoughts on Apple potential making of a car? I'm feeling weird even saying that out loud. Yeah, well, Apple did have, I'm trying to remember the name of the project that they had. So we were on a Toyota Tacoma launch about whenever the last Tacoma came out, 3 or 4 years ago, and it was in Tacoma in the Washington state, and the chief engineer was there from Michigan, and he was telling us that so many of the Toyota engineers had been poached by Apple to produce a car. And then all of this hype around Apple producing a car, and we heard all these stories. They were poaching from top companies, and then it went quiet, and they said that they were shutting that project down. Well, now we're hearing that they're in talks with Kia and Hyundai to produce a car, and then I just read an article last night that says that's on hold. So you listen, look at all the Apple stuff. This is running on my laptop. Apple, when they do something, they do a great job, except for phones. I'm an Android phone guy. Yeah, when they put their mind to it, they can make the best of anything. So it's going to be really interesting to watch, which makes me question the crazy valuations of Tesla. When Apple gets in the game and Google gets in the game, and you've got Tesla in the game, and then you get the main players that are going to be producing. You saw all the Super Bowl ads for General Motors electrification platform. It's going to be interesting to watch. Google thinks I talked to it. Okay, I'll turn that over. Would you buy a 2021 Rton R-Line or a Volvo S60 Inscription? Well, these are, they're both nice cars. I think that, in my opinion, the Rton is overpriced, and if there's incentives on it, and there probably is, and that's where you need to go to carcostcanada.com to see if there's any incentives, because I think the car is overpriced, especially in light of what they charge to get the Kia Stinger. A Stinger and Rton are probably the closest competitors in size and what have and attitude. A non-premium liftback without having to go and buy an Audi. So your comparison is a good one, but you're comparing a non-premium brand, which is Volkswagen, with a premium brand like Volvo. So they're both excellent choices. In matter of fact, I just drove an S60 recently, and I'm a big fan of the Rton. However, it would have to be a good deal to get the Rton, but I do like it. It's going to have a lighter feel to it, a little bit more, not more nimble on its feet, but a little lighter feeling. Have you heard anything about the Mazda MX-30, their EV SUV? It looks incredibly tight in the back seat, similar to the CX-3, but a beautiful interior. From what I believe, it is the XC. I saw it when I was in Japan. It's basically the CX-30 electrified with a small rotary engine on board as an extender. So the battery is going to be small. And it is going to be electrified, and then you have a constant speed rotary engine that produces extended range if you need boost in electricity. So from what I understand, this is going to be the only in-house Mazda fully produced electric vehicle. And colleagues of mine have driven it. It's Gabriel Gelina from Quebec, good buddy. He went to Japan, and was it Japan? Yeah, I think it was Japan. Norway. He drove it in Norway. And he says it's great. But it's kind of contrary to what everybody else is doing. So a small battery with small range, but very incredibly light and fun to drive, but you have this rotary engine on board to extend the range. Now, from what I understand, that will be the kind of one and done from their engineering department. Then you're going to move over to the collaboration with Toyota, and then I think moving forward, future vehicles from Mazda will have joint venture with Toyota and probably Subaru. Eric is saying, hey, Zach, thoughts on the A6 all-road? Any chance the fine folks at Audi downtown Vancouver let you review one for us wagon fans? I can ask. I just got an email from Audi downtown Vancouver today asking what vehicles we'd like to review. So, yeah, I'm a huge fan of wagons. You don't have to twist my arm. Andrea, not so much. We're going to try and get an all-road, the A4 as well, so stay tuned. Hey, Zach, it's time for avocado toast. We're ready to see. Yes, it is coming. The video, I think we're going to drop it on Wednesday or Thursday. Okay, I got to get a super chat in here. Hey, excuse me. Don't be afraid. Super chat away if you've got a question. Norbert is here. Norbert, by the way, is the name of my watchmaker. Norbert from the German watchmaker here in Vancouver. I heard the Porsche Cayman GTS 4-liter manual gear ratios are a bit tall. Any thoughts? You know what, Norbert? I've only driven that car once, and I drove it on the track. So my memory about it is basically like that, right? It was a lot of fun, and you can go and watch the video. So the trying to remember. I think the Boxster I drove on the road was the PDK, and I don't know. If you went and watched the video, you can see me driving it. I didn't... Listen, it's a great car. And you're not going to change the gear ratios. If you like the idea of a 4-liter flat 6 behind you in a Boxster or a Cayman, you're going to have to live with whatever gear ratios they give you. But a hell of a car, nothing wrong with it. In fact, speaking of the GTS and the 4-liter, this Friday on the channel, we're going to be dropping a GT4 video, a 2016 GT4. Doesn't have the 4-liter, has the 3.8 liter from the Carrera S motor, but I just drove that thanks to Core Cars here in Vancouver and absolutely loved it, so stick around for that. So what I'm saying is go back and watch the video. Oh, here's Andrea. I love Jack and his sports updates. Way to go, Jack. That's Mama's boy. That's Mama's. And by the way, Andrea is upstairs right now getting dinner ready, and she listens in the background. So, oh, by the way, we're trying to get Andrea to 2,500 followers on Instagram, so she's very close. So maybe tonight, because of you, we could push her over the edge. So go to Instagram right now on your phone. Grab your phone. It's motormouth_Andrea. Follow along, and we'll see if we can get her to 2,500 tonight. That'd be good. We're close. I think we're about 20 away or so. Okay, where were we here? Here's Eric from Montreal, still with the lockdowns in Montreal. It's all shut down at 8 p.m. Eastern, so everybody in the house, certain parts of Quebec and probably more rural areas, it's 9:30 now, but there you go. You spoke to Thomas Tetzlaff last week on Volkswagen Roadmap. You spoke to Thomas Tetzlaff last week on Volkswagen's Roadmap. Let me get this again, Eric, sorry. And when models will be arriving in showrooms. Any update on the GTI and Garfall released the date? So Eric, from Thomas, you're right. A couple of weeks ago, I spoke to Thomas, and so the GTI and the Golf R are going to be coming in the fall. Okay, now obviously with the way everything is going in the world with COVID, there's this microchip shortage you're probably aware of that's affecting production. The GTI and the Golf R, I said to him, if it was between Canadian Thanksgiving and American Thanksgiving, he said that's probably a pretty good guess. So somewhere in there, October, November, okay? So that's the best we can do. As we get closer, we can fine tune it. So this is what we call a subscriber sip. If you're watching this live, you already subscribed. You got notified the show's on the air, go watch. But if you're watching this after the fact, and you might not be a subscriber, I take a sip and you subscribe. And how many likes do we have on there? We got 55 thumbs up and 2 thumbs down. There's always 2 jerks out there. So give me a thumbs up if you could. That'd be great. West Coast, hi Zach, would you still recommend the new Nissan Rogue and its CVT the same as it was before, or has it been updated? I can only tell you how it drove on the day that we had it. And the new Rogue is a vast improvement over the last one. Marked improvement. And the same thing with the Sentra that came out earlier last year. Both of those cars, very well done. So, and by the way, the Rogue, the Sentra was nominated for North American Car of the Year. I'm not sure if the Rogue was. Anyway, I was very impressed with the Rogue. It still is a CVT. There are incremental changes that happen with car models as they go through the years, and this is a brand new model. All I can do is say, go and drive it and see for yourself. It doesn't feel bad. It's an improvement in my opinion, and how it's going to be down the road, we don't know, but it does feel very good. And all I can do is base it on the seat time I had. I've often heard that you should wait about a year before buying a brand new model or update of a vehicle because of possible issues with new vehicles. Is this still the case today? Yeah, it is. I mean, new products, they work out the bugs. And some brands are better than others. Even Toyota, for example, when they brought out the RAV4, I would always say, Toyota shouldn't be a worry, blah, blah, blah. But when the RAV4 came out, when was it? For 2019, they had some issues with it. And all brands have teething pains with brand new product because they can test as much as they want. They can do their durability testing and all of that kind of stuff. When you get it in the hands of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people using it in varying conditions, and then you start to see problems come back, they adjust their production due to that feedback. And if you are worried about it, wait. Time is on your hand. The best time really to buy a car is sort of at the end of its cycle. But some people don't want to wait for, they don't want to drive an older car. They want to drive a newer one. So at least 1 year is not a bad idea. Arthur's saying, just watch the Celtos Trailblazer video. Well done, Zach and Andrea. Congrats on the 150,000 subs. And good luck with the avocado toast. Just had mine here. So I'm not an avocado fan. It's the texture. It's the green slime. Andrea loves it. Anyway. Car Geek. Can the Lexus GSF be a daily driver? How about driving in winter? Or do you think that the GS350 would be a better choice for everyday use? There is absolutely no problem with the GSF Sport being a daily driver. It is not a rough and ready car. It is just a slightly modified version of what they already have. It's more of an appearance thing. Yeah, absolutely you can drive it every single day. Hey, Zach, was looking at the 2021 Outback with the 11.5-inch screen. In recent YouTube reviews, the 2020 infotainment center sounds like a hot mess. Any improvements over the 2021 model? In the 2020, I don't think it's a hot mess. I think it's pretty easy to use. I don't see an issue. I've used it several times now. I would disagree with that. Even like the new ones when it came out, no, I didn't have an issue with it at all. That's not a hot mess. Is keeping an Audi long-term 8 to 10 years financial punishment? It can be. And it depends on the model. Like some cars are much more technically advanced and maybe problematic versus something that's a little bit simpler. I don't know which car you're talking about, but yeah, German cars as they get older can be very expensive to fix. And what I would suggest is if you're going to get a car, say now, and you want to keep it for a long term, so when it gets to the end of its initial 4-year warranty is extended out, and you can buy warranties that'll take it out 7 or 8 years, and at that point maybe time to move on. If the car's been fine and you want to risk driving it without a warranty, you can do that, but it really comes down to the specific model and how it's been maintained, and sometimes just luck, really. If you were investing in an automotive stock today, what would you choose and why? Happy to hear possible runner-up as well. Well, I did invest in NIO stock, which is the Chinese electric car company, and like a fool, I sold it. I made money, so I'm never going to look a gift horse in the mouth, but that was all when the pandemic started. I sold it. I was up. I had made some money, but I would have made a lot of money if I'd kept it. I just don't see how Tesla keeps shooting the lights out over and over again when there's so much competition going to be coming to the marketplace over the next few years. There was a run-up recently in GM shares. There's definitely going to be winners and losers in everything. I'm not here to give you stock tips, but pay attention to where the industry is going and who you think are going to be winners and losers when it comes to technology. I just think that the Tesla thing has just skewed everybody's perception of what is reality, because the Tesla stock is not based in reality. They make 500,000 cars a year for a global marketplace. Toyota makes 10 million cars a year. I don't understand how you can, I don't know. I just don't get it. So I'm really not the guy who's going to point you to the next big thing. But if you're interested, NIO, N-I-O, is a Chinese company that you can buy, I believe, on the NASDAQ exchange. Hey, what are your thoughts on GM's commitment to EVs and the 30 models they are purporting to have in the next 4 years? From a cars guy's perspective, LS motors are too good to abolish. LS motor? Oh, I see what you're saying. So the LS, the V8. I would suggest that there's a huge amount of money that's going into electric cars. So they said, was it 25 billion, I should say. So Ford makes an announcement, we're going to spend 27 billion. And Volkswagen Group is like even more than that in euros. So there's all of these companies that are piling money into EVs. The market for EVs right now is still really quite small. It's just over 2% worldwide. So I always bring these numbers out and say, like, you have like 97.5% of the world's production of cars are still internal combustion engines. I don't see how we're getting rid of 97.5% of internal combustion engines in a short period of time. You're going to have incremental growth with EVs. That's absolutely true. But there's the old Field of Dreams saying, if you build it, they will come. Well, my worry is there's going to be some car companies that spend these billions of dollars and they build it and nobody comes. One of the worries is that the public perception is it's Tesla or nothing. If it's not a Tesla, then it's no good. And I think that's really faulty because there are going to be excellent electric cars. All reports on the ID4 from Volkswagen is very good. I'm a big fan of the Chevy Bolt, the existing one. You can pick them up fairly cheaply with incentives, and it's a very good car. I think one of the reasons it's not selling as well as they had hoped right now because there is a new one coming with all the big announcements. So the issue, one of the things is with these big legacy car companies, when they say they're going to do something, they do it. So when Mary Barra says at General Motors, we're going to have 25 or 30 or whatever the number is of electric cars in the next 4 years, they will. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the public adopts these things. And no, we're not going to be getting rid of internal combustion engines anytime soon. Even with General Motors saying it's by 2035, it's going to be all electric. Well, we'll see. I know that the RDX and the TLX are completely different cars, but having the same engine, how different are they driving dynamic-wise? Thank you. Well, yeah, you've got one that's low to the ground and is a sedan, and one that's sitting up higher and it's an SUV. So you've got a lot of shared componentry there, right? So engine, transmission, all-wheel drive system. So yeah, that's it. One is going to be more planted because it's lower to the ground. But the RDX is a fine vehicle. Only one super chat. One lonely super chat for Zach. This is funny. Maybe your doctor can prescribe some Stellantis for your cough. Ask your doctor if Stellantis is right for you. Now that's funny. So we joke around about the new name for FCA is Stellantis, which sounds like, you know, one of those ads on TV for some medication. By the way, I was on... So the reason I cough, and you hear me cough on these live shows, is I have acid reflux. And I was on the acid reflux medication for, I don't know, like 12 or 13 years. And then a year or so ago, I decided to get off it. It can cause other problems. So I shook it all off. And yeah, now I just cough more, but you know, we're friends. I don't have COVID. Hey, hello from Arizona. Nice, right back at you. Somebody from Arizona wrote on the Kia Seltos Chevy Trailblazer. We were talking about a heated steering wheel, and it might have been you saying in Arizona, heated steering wheels are complimentary because it's so hot there. I like the way the Acura MDX does their mid-row seats. Why can't manufacturers do that as standard? Not sure what you mean by that. But yeah, MDX is going to be in my hands here, hopefully in the next 4 weeks. I contacted Acura. I know there's videos already out in the US. Unfortunately, same thing I mentioned a moment ago. We are having to wait for them to arrive, but the person in charge of that vehicle said as soon as it arrives, we'll be getting it. Hey, Zach, would you recommend a used SUV in the $20,000 budget for a big guy that's easy to live with? Thanks. A big guy that's easy to live with. That sounds like a dating app. I'm a big guy that's easy, a dating ad. I'm a big guy that's easy to live with. Recommend a used SUV for $20,000. So I would look at like a mid-size SUV, not a compact if you're a big guy. Like I would look at maybe a used Ford Edge or a Grand Cherokee or a Nissan Murano. All of these are like, a lot of people are going, you would recommend those? I'm just saying for size, that might be the way to go. You know what? I got an idea. If you could find a used Toyota 4Runner. That might not be a bad way to go. Maybe a used Pathfinder, something like that. You have to get in and try them out and see what's right for you. Love your channel. I'm watching your channel and the Leafs game at the same time, so no questions from me. All right, there you go. Let me find out the score. You already know. You already know hardly the score. What's the score, Jack? 1-1. Oh my God, it's not terrible. The Canucks are just gone from bad to worse this year. It's terrible. How did the PT Cruiser win so many awards when it came out? It turned out to be such a mediocre car with terrible reliability. At the end, it's quite interesting you mentioned the reliability. The PT Cruiser, at the very end, they were made in Mexico. The reliability improved because they had been making them for so many years. Yeah, it was one of those cars that would just took everybody by surprise because of the design. And it was like, oh, there's this cool little cute little retro thing. And people were lining up to get them and paying over retail. Can you believe that? For a PT Cruiser. The convertible was the weirdest thing ever. Had a horrible turning radius. Yeah, these were not the best days for good old Chrysler. But yeah, I don't know. It was more of a design thing. Humble Pie Garage. Zach, what are your thoughts on GM's commitment to EVs? I think we just covered that. Zach, did you hear that Ioniq will be coming in its own electric brand with 3 models named 3, 6, and 7? They need to rename those cars. How many companies use 5, 6, and 7? You know what? The alphanumeric thing is easy for people to remember. Remembering names like Stellantis is not easy. Yeah, I think here's another perfect example of, you know, the Korean brands bringing in their electrified programs as well. There could, like I said, there could be a lot of electric capacity in the marketplace and not enough demand, because I am not a fan of stimulating electric car sale demand through incentives. I just don't think that's, you know, giving people tens of thousands of dollars for personal transportation. I think that's folly. I think it should go into public transportation, buying new subway cars, new buses, improving roads, and getting people into mass transit. For most people is going to be an improvement to their life, not some schmuck driving a new Tesla, sitting in it thinking, oh, I got 10 grand off. I just don't think that's a good way to go. And, you know, so I think it's great that everybody's coming to the market with these things. Same thing again. What's that going to do to Tesla when you have so many of these other competitors and you've kind of had the lion's share to yourself over the last few years? We'll wait and see. May you live in interesting times, they said. TK Porsche, nice to see you back. Super chat. Zach, had the same acid reflux problems you did. You motivate me to try apple cider vinegar and drop the pills. Been doing it for 5 months now. No more reflux. Thank you. Well, I had somebody else contact me, one of our regular viewers here in the live chat, who lives in Chicago, and he asked me about the apple cider vinegar. And I tried the apple cider vinegar. This is all medical stuff for acid reflux. And if you take a little bit of apple cider vinegar and then you drink it, it helps with the apple cider reflux. And I'm glad it's working for you. But it caused incredible ringing in my ears, and it apparently can make your hearing more sensitive. So I had this problem with my ears, so I stopped taking it, and the ringing went away. So that isn't working for me, unfortunately. All right, let's find out where we were. Queen's Half Corgi, nice to have you on board. Apparently, the most popular finance term in Canada is 84 months. Wow. People should really understand the difference between I can afford this car versus I can't afford the monthly finance lease payments of this car. There's a big difference between I can afford this car versus I can afford the monthly payments. Well, you've absolutely hit the nail on the head. People don't buy cars, they buy a payment. My advice to anybody is do not have one of these 84-month terms on financing. You will always owe more than the car is worth. Always, all the way through its life. So if you ever want to flip out of it, you're going to be what's called upside down, negative equity, and then often the car dealers will take the negative, say you owe $3,000 on the car, they'll roll that one into the next payment. So you're always trying to get your head above water. If you want to get a lower monthly payment, don't finance over 84 months. Lease the car for 3 or 4 years. Leasing really brings your costs down, but there's a guaranteed out at the end. You know you've paid your amount and you can give the car back or maybe buy it out. Or just buy a used car. The problem with used cars is you don't get the finance rates. Like car companies right now are giving you 0% interest for 84 months. That's a very tempting offer. Look at the leasing is another way to get into it. The great thing about leasing is you know the value of the car all the way through, right? If you ever need to get out of it, you can assign lease to somebody else using a service like Lease Busters, or you just wait till the end and then give the car back. But being upside down on a car payment for years is not a fun thing. Reinhold, PT Cruiser was awful. I knew someone who actually owned one. Imagine that. They were everywhere, man. Those things were popular. Nissan looks really competitive now. What do you think of the new Pathfinder and the Frontier? Yeah, I forgot about that. We did the little videos that dropped last week. The Pathfinder looks good. You know, I think they took a bit of a direction from what the Koreans are doing with the Palisade and the Telluride. It's got this really sort of elegant back to it. If you didn't see the video, go back on the channel. I did these little 2-3 minute videos on the Pathfinder, and then the Frontier has the new 3.8 liter 6-cylinder 9-speed trans. Oh, the other thing, the great thing about the Pathfinder is no CVT. They've gone to a 9-speed ZF transmission. Now, a lot of people commented about, oh, the 9-speed from ZF hasn't been that good. Listen, the 9-speed from ZF has been out now for many years, so trust me, they've improved it. So that's a big step up, and it looks good on the inside. I think good for Nissan. Now, if you watch this regularly, what has Zach been saying? What have I been saying over the last year? Nissan is fighting back. That new Sentra is excellent. In fact, I would put the Nissan Sentra right near the top of the compact class. However, I just picked up the Elantra today, so I'll have to wait until I drive that a little longer. And the new Rogue, as I mentioned moments ago, is very good. So yeah, they're coming back with some good stuff. Another super chat just came in. I like super chats. Mike, quietest car under 50K. Quietest car under 50K. I would say, you know, you could probably look for something like Toyota Avalon or a Lexus ES or a Buick. You know, very quiet cars. Buick has their quiet tuning. GM does a particularly good job with making their cars quiet. So there's 3 suggestions. If you give me some examples of which ones I would choose between, it might be a good way to go. But yeah, the Avalon's a nice car. Quiet is always so subjective. Like what I find quiet is someone else might find like really noisy. All right. Ben Logic. Zach, 2021 A7, BMW 5 Series, or Mercedes-Benz E-Class. Which one would you pick? Well, I would pick an A7 because I had an A7. We had an A7 for 4 years. We absolutely loved it. It's a great car. So 5 Series is nice. E-Class is nice. But the A7 that's a classy car, man. Just a beautiful looking car. So I was at the Audi dealer the other day picking up the A4, and there was somebody, this guy, he was picking up his brand new Audi RS7, and it was in this beautiful gray color with the black trim on it. And I was like, oh my God. And you know what? The wheels from the RS6 Avant, they put on the RS7, just absolutely drop dead gorgeous. These huge wheels, that was just beautiful. But yeah, A7, I think, absolutely gorgeous. Your thoughts on Cybertruck being revealed this summer and coming out at the end of the year? Beats all our pickup trucks and stats. Yeah, great. Go ahead. Get a Cybertruck. Listen, I think that the people who get Cybertrucks are just going to be a lot of it's attention. Like, why do you think it looks like that? Because people who buy them want to get noticed. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Tesla is probably an overpriced stock, but my thesis is on bet Elon Musk and his ideas, not just the car. Yeah, but there's Elon Musk isn't the only guy that has ideas on how to make cars. Like, you know that, right? Elon Musk, world's biggest troll. Not touching that. Did you ever hear anything about the return of the Honda Element? Not that I know of. Hey, Zach, what would a good car, Honda Accord or Acura TLX? Well, it used to be that I would say go right past the Acura dealer and just buy a fully loaded Honda Accord. Now the TLX is much improved. So a year ago, I would say that. But now I think the TLX is definitely worthy of the premium you pay for it. While I'm looking for that, I'm going to have another sip. Oh, that's a good one. Pilsner, my favorite. Sorry, I just got to keep going back till I can find where I was. Somebody actually sent me a thing saying, you can go from this to that, but I'm using a separate program. So the program I have allows me to put the questions on the screen, which is different than the Google system that you get to use. All right, somebody just came with a super chat. Mike is back. Elon Musk had a good start, but legacy manufacturers will cream him when they get in the EV game. I'm not sure they're going to cream him, because when you have 80% market share, meaning electric vehicles, 80% go to Tesla, that's called the first mover advantage. They certainly have a lot of followers that just love their product, and good for them. They've been able to build a brand that people are willing to buy and spend a lot of money for, and they certainly have been able to make electric cars aspirational. Like, people want a Tesla because it's a status symbol. An electric vehicle that's a status symbol, that's Tesla. So people want to be seen in them. They want to associate with the brand. That is going to be a really hard thing to break. And that's one of the things that I worry about, is all of these other brands spending tens of billions of dollars to produce electric cars that might just sit there. We're going to have to wait and see. Now, in Europe, the Volkswagen Group is the top EV seller. And in China, it's not Tesla either. It's more of a North American phenomenon, but still North America is a fairly big market. But thank you for the super chat. Always appreciated. What is better, the 2021 Lexus IS 300 or the 2021 A4 A5 Sportback? I don't know. I mean, the six-cylinder in the Lexus IS is interesting, because I was at the Subaru dealer getting a car. Actually, it was the Volvo XC40, and the guy who's there, one of the sales guys, he has a Lexus IS. He says it's horrible on gas. He says it just sucks gas because you're working with a six-cylinder. I'm a big fan. If you watch this regularly, it's called the A4 family of vehicles. So the Audi A4, there it is there. I just think it just does everything so well. Now the A5 is built on the same platform, same drivetrain, and all of that. So give it a shot. See what you think. I think it's a great product. And if it was me between the two, that's the one I would pick. J-Tags, heard you say last week talking about how easy it is to crap on American cars. What is the one you like and would most likely get zero credit? I have a soft spot for the Chrysler 300S. You know what? The 300 is a great car. What one would you like that gets zero credit? The Chrysler 300 is the most reliable, or the Charger and the 300. The most reliable vehicles that FCA or Stellantis makes. Their legacy, they're older now. They've been around for a long time. Wonderful car to drive on a long road trip. Great highway car. Big, it's got a lot going for it. It's been basically baked for the last, I don't know how many years. They haven't really changed it much, but it is a really good car. And it has good reliability. And from what I understand, I'm trying to remember now off the top of my head, for large cars in that large car category, and there's very few of them remaining, like Maxima and a few others. They actually hold their value fairly well. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you. That 300S is a wonderful car, especially with the Hemi. Oh, so somebody's saying the Honda Element is coming back. I missed that. Sorry, I've been working all day. So if I missed that, I'll check into it. Honda Element coming back. Let me check into that. I didn't get an email from Honda on that. Here's a Celtic supporter, John. Glasgow Celtic. You're not a Rangers fan, I'm guessing. I don't think, Reinhold, that saying Serena Williams is the greatest athlete of all time is a stretch. I mean, how many Grand Slams has she won? I don't think it's very PC at all. But I agree with Jack. You can't. The one thing I hate about, not taking away from Michael Phelps' accomplishments in the pool, but you get somebody like Michael Phelps that does the 50, the 100, the 200, the medley, the relay. So basically, he can just rack up all of these medals because he's in so many different disciplines. Meanwhile, the guy who runs the marathon only does one race, right? That's it. So it's a bit unfair that you have so many different variations of the same thing, which is swimming, versus, the 100 meters. Usain Bolt wins for the 100 meters and maybe the 200 meters and the relay, and that's it. So it's a bit hard to compare somebody who's won all of those gold medals versus Serena Williams, who has won all of those Grand Slams, versus Tom Brady, who's won all those Super Bowls, which is a team sport. It's hard to compare. Then you've got Wayne Gretzky, who just absolutely decimates everybody in terms of points scored. Fast to 1,000 points, fastest to 2,000 points. Assists, you name it. It's crazy. Have you heard anything about the new Ford Maverick pickup? It's rumored true. VW will be bringing a new pickup alongside the Ranger. It'll be available in Canada. I don't know about that, but yeah. So if you're not aware, Volkswagen and the Volkswagen Group and Ford do have an alliance around commercial vehicles. So that is going to be interesting to see what happens. And usually where there's smoke, there's fire with these things. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, there you go. Lucas, looking forward to your videos every week. You two rock. Nissan, keep them sexy designs coming. The Pathfinder and the Frontier look fantastic. I agree. I think they look good. You look like my cousin Melanie. Poor Melanie. Yikes. Hey, Zach, to the question about the best type of rust proofing, word of warning, all of that oil spray undercoating have the danger of ripping and lifting rubber chrome paints, rubber matte. Okay, this is not undercoating. Don't confuse Rust Check and Crown with the spray-on stuff they put at the dealership. It's quite different, but yeah, we'll take your advice on that. Benjamin saying, eagerly awaiting your review on the CX-30 Turbo. Hope I don't have buyer's remorse having bought the naturally aspirated model. Well, put it this way, you've got a good product. Don't worry about that. I think we got some more super chats here. Let's go down to the bottom here. Richard is here. Do you think I should purchase an Audi TTS 2020 model or wait for the Nissan 400Z or Z? Thanks. I don't know. I mean, we have to wait until we get our hands on the 400. So, yeah. My advice to you is wait and then decide, because we don't really have much to go on other than the concept they showed. So, if time is on your side and you're not in a rush, that's what I would do. Is the Porsche Macan unreliable long term? Not particularly. Porsches overall are fairly reliable. I would say they're above average. You have to maintain them regularly, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, maintaining a Porsche isn't cheap. So you have to be able to, you know, get your head around the fact that getting it serviced is more expensive than a Honda Accord. But you get returned a high quality material, high quality vehicle with nice materials, nice interior, all those sorts of things. But yeah, generally Porsches are quite reliable. I've had 4 of them, and of all the cars I've owned, they have been the most reliable. So I can tell you that. See, the problem when I get the super chats is I got to go back and find out where I was. Sorry, everybody. Hate when I have to do this, but super chats take precedent. Any thoughts on the new Hyundai Tucson? Yeah, it looks fantastic. It's going to be bigger, right? It's a bigger vehicle. I think the styling of it is really quite strong and aggressive looking. Now, I'm not totally sold on the Hyundai design direction they're going. They're going with a lot of very sharp surfaces. So have you seen the new the Elantra? It's got it's quite busy. You see the Sonata, the same thing, in the Tucson. So Hyundai's going for this really sharp, angular kind of thing. I'm not totally sold on it. A lot of times when you have these busy designs, they don't age well. The back of the Tucson, I think, looks particularly good. And if you want to go and watch a quick video I did, there is a video on the channel showing you when the vehicle was just first revealed, and we're waiting to get our hands on it. So as soon as I can get my hands on it, I will let you know. I want to treat you to a Stellantis tattoo. Favorite company. All the best always. That's funny. James B. I always catch the Q&A after the fact. Nice to connect live for the first time. Parkside Brewery. Great choice. I just went to the liquor store and I thought, oh, that's a nice looking can. That's marketing for you. I like the can. I bought the beer. It's good. A4 All-Road or Q5? I'm close to pulling the trigger on a 19 All-Road, but the selection on the Q5 is a lot better. Well, you've got a more unique and distinct vehicle. There's not going to be as many around for sale, and there's not going to be as many around for resale. Now, I would suspect that the resale value of the All-Road will probably be a little bit higher, only because when someone's looking for one used, there's going to be way fewer to choose from. So if you have one and it's the right color and mileage and everything, and you go to try and sell it, there's always going to be someone that wants that. Q5s are everywhere, so there's never a shortage of those. So I like the All-Road a lot, but you have to decide whether you're a wagon guy or an SUV guy. I think the All-Road, if you like the idea of a wagon, is one hell of a vehicle. The new Frontier should be better competition for the Tacoma. I should hope so. And the problem with Nissan, I could never understand this. So Ford dropped the Ranger. Chevy and General Motors dropped the Colorado and Canyon. So all you had left in the marketplace was Tacoma and Nissan with the Frontier. Nissan did nothing with the Frontier. They didn't market it. I would have marketed the hell out of that thing and let everybody know, oh, by the way, you still want a small pickup truck? We got one. And Toyota ran with it. And Toyota absolutely decimated them in terms of sales. And Toyota has an amazing following with the Tacoma, to the fact that the other vehicles came back into the marketplace, Ranger, Colorado Canyon, all that kind of stuff, and they were trying to, take the top dog off, which was Tacoma. I think sales of the domestics have more than passed Toyota now, but it still is sort of like the gold standard in that category. So yeah, they just let that thing I even joked in the little preview video, I said, I think they even forgot they made it. It sat for so long. It just seems like, and finally they're doing something with it, and it looks great. Oh, thoughts. Have you ever driven the newer RS5? Thoughts, if you have. Yes. We drove the RS5 through the Pyrenees Mountains in southern France and northern Spain. What's the little principality? What's it called? Trying to remember now. Andorra. We went to this tiny little country called Andorra, which is so you ever see the Tour de France where they ride these crazy mountains? That's the area. And those roads that they do the Tour de France, where they go through these crazy narrow roads, those were the roads we drove the RS5 on. So go back and watch the video. A fabulous engine. So that is the 2.9 liter twin turbo, fantastic engine. What do you think of the new 2021 Ram TRX? I think a lot of these companies are coming out with these high horsepower models to get as much money as they can to invest in their electric car programs. Like for example, there was never an RS6 Avant wagon sold in North America. There was never an S7 SUV sold in North America. And all of these high horsepower cars that are in the marketplace now, I think these car manufacturers are like, hey, let's just give them what they want. We'll charge a lot for them, and we'll get as much money as we can, because we're going to need that money to put towards the electrification strategy. And I think that's why you're seeing vehicles like the TRX. It's like, oh, you want a high horsepower pickup truck? Sure, we'll sell you one of those. Pure profit, because they're going to need that money down the road. I'm a big fan of wagons. I feel like they go almost anywhere like an SUV with all-wheel drive. Just depends on if you want a taller vehicle. I agree with you. Do you think Mazda's strategy of slightly going premium as a non-luxury brand will pay off, knowing the recession might force buyers to look into value? Yeah, well, we're seeing that. Certainly brands that offer value have done very well. Kia and Hyundai are two perfect examples. Toyota always is a value brand. People feel safe parking their money buying a Toyota. Of course, it's such a great choice. I think that, yeah, in certain instances, this sort of not luxury, but high-end premium, but it's only sold on, like, for example, this CX-30, this turbo model is only sold on one trim. So it's a limited market, but the people that want it are getting one hell of a vehicle if they can afford it. So I think it's not a bad strategy. It certainly sets them apart from everybody else, doesn't it? Like, everybody's doing the same sort of thing, and here comes Mazda, and they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to give you more power, more features than everybody else. It's not going to be as expensive as a luxury car, but you know what? If you're thinking about it, we offer it. I think it's quite a clever strategy, so long as they're mainline cars, they don't jack the price of those up. That's what I hope. TK Porsche is saying, looks like the Ford Mach-E, won't say Mustang, looks like a huge win. We'll have to see how it does in sales. I think it's not a bad looking vehicle. On size, it's good. The specs are fantastic, and the interior looks great. Just to give you some context, I'm replacing my TDI wagon, so I'm a little bit biased towards the body type. So I think that was the question about a station wagon. Yeah, so if you're a station wagon guy, get the A4. Sorry, I'm just scanning through here because we're kind of up against the clock. I want to go... Hey Zach, looking at RDX or Q3, just wondering, given the car shortage, can I expect any reduction in MSRP, or will I have to pay full MSRP at the dealer in Manitoba? They are above MSRP. So what I would suggest is, use Car Cost Canada, type in the promo code MotorMouth, become an expert member, and a lot of these questions will be answered when you go and do a search for an RDX or a Q3. You'll see if there's any discounts or rebates. So the Q3 just came out this year. like within the not the calendar year, but within the last 12 months. So there's a lot of pent-up demand for that product because people were waiting a long time for the new one to come. So I would suggest probably not going to be much in the way of incentives on Q3s because they're going to sell a lot of them because people trading in their old ones are considering getting the new one. The RDX has been out for a few years. You're probably going to have a better shot at getting a reduction on that one. But sign up and use the promo code and see what you can do. Hey, Barracks here. You were not the first question today. That's usually the case. You are always very quick down the draw and get your questions in. If you were in the market for a near luxury compact crossover, would you take the new RDX, Mazda CX-5 Turbo, and why? Thanks for doing these live chats. That's a good comparison, by the way. It all comes down to badge appeal. If you're okay driving a non-premium brand, then the Mazda products are fantastic, and in fact have more torque, but not as much horsepower. I believe it's 272 for the RDX, and it's 250 for the Mazda. But the Mazda has more torque because it's got a larger displacement engine. So there you go. They're all good choices. We are blessed with fantastic products just now. Just want to make sure I didn't miss any last super chats. I think I did. There's Peter. Peter is saying, my wife's lease ends soon on her Cadillac XT5. She wants to test drive the Lincoln Nautilus and Corsair. I like the XT6 or another 5 thoughts. I like the Corsair over the Nautilus, hands down. I think the Corsair is great. I would suggest you try the XT6. It's surprisingly good. I think they did a really good job with it. And you're also familiar with the brand, so the interior is going to be familiar and all the controls and what have you. The XT6, you can go and watch the video that we did earlier last year. Andrea came away and said it might be one of her favorites in the category. But I'll take the Corsair over the Nautilus and also try the new XT5 because they have made some improvements to it. All right, so there you go. We're all out of time. Thanks to everybody that took part. Thank you for the super chats. Don't forget, before we go, see if we can pump up Andrea's Instagram. It's motormouth_Andrea. And there you go. Thanks to everybody who played along. We'll see you next Monday. Don't forget, the Mazda CX-30 Turbo drops tomorrow. The avocado toast will come later in the week. We're going to have the Porsche GT4 on Friday. We're going to have the Kia K5 GT coming out soon, and also our Volvo XC40 Recharge, the electric vehicle, will be coming out on Saturday. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you next time.